Welcome to the Dice Box and Tombstone Blues. Some of them might have that be more literal than others at this point. Um, Last week, which unfortunately went unrecorded, but I've got it right this time. Um, the crew was investigating the Norrington farm, home of Big Engine Swamp, and weird things and potentially disappearances, and they didn't really know exactly what was going on, which was why they were going to investigate. They ran into a young boy heading home and got a little bit more information. Something that indicated to them that there were very definitely things living on that property, but you could only see them if there were lots of them, and they wouldn't actually do anything to you if there was a certain number, and it all got a little bit confusing. So after meeting Wyatt Norrington's mother, which in and of itself was a little bit bizarre, um, the group went to investigate. Jillian and Caleb went one direction and met a friendly, if terrified, little being, which was apparently made of bones and vines and Queen Anne's lace, and tried to explain as best she could without any kind of verbal ability. And given that only Jillian could see her, that was a bit tricksy anyway. Yay for natural 20s. But managed to approximately get across the fact that Wyatt Norrington was making these things, and some of them were monsters, and didn't know exactly where the power came from. It just was, and unfortunately they didn't get that far because there was a bead rattle which apparently terrified the little being even more, and she ran away. The bead rattling was in fact an alarm, which was down to Aloy and Reba on the other end of the property, um, who got caught out by a couple more of them, so they were actually apparently able to act against them. Clonked Hazel with a tree, and then more of them turned up, and running happened, but Reba tripped and is currently surrounded by four monstrous looking individuals and kind of in a bad position, while Muffin is galloping away with Alloy. Alloy, make me a perception check.
Here we go. Yeah, even with the bonus, that's not happening.
Yeah, well, to be fair, yeah, with the bonus, everything is a bit too much of a blur. Uh, you know that Reba's not next to you, but she's not going to be because Muffin goes faster than she does. You're just not entirely aware of how far back Reba is. Okay, very briefly before we go into what is going on with poor Reba, um, Jillian and Caleb, uh, you're currently aware that something's going on. Something scary to small, mostly invisible because outnumbered entity uh, is happening, and it could potentially be about your friends way on the other end of the property.
Was the friendlier thing running in the opposite direction of the
Well,
rest of our party? Or can you not really tell?
not really. I mean, this you weren't even supposed to be able to see that. The only reason you did was because it was a nat 20. So basically, like two steps in the direction of the property as a whole, and then
Okay.
lost sight of her entirely.
Yeah. Jillian percepts for anything immediate.
Okay. Yeah, no, there doesn't seem to be anything on this end of the property that you can see. But then again, it was apparently only the will of the Lord that you managed to see what you did. Because Caleb is still going, the only reason I know there was anything there was because those are tracks.
Jillian looks back to Caleb. Something startled it, but nothing I can see or hear.
You reckon we all double back?
Looks around again. Yeah, we better. She starts jogging the way they came.
Yeah, so that means you're going around the edge of the property, so it's gonna take you a while to get back to, Yeah, so, okay, we now go back to Reba. Reba, roll me some initiative, would you?
15.
Okay, so let me have a quick look. Right. So that's...
Be like Lorax, speak with the trees.
Stifle.
No.
Can y'all, like, stop for a minute? Let me do things here. Cocked. Ooh, that's not good. Two
I
of
didn't
them
see that.
Two of them get to attack before you manage to get
Mhm.
yourself in any kind of condition to do anything. Let's just see what we've got here. What's your armor
14.
class? Oh dear. This is not going to be pleasant. Let's see, so that's 13 points of slashing damage as one of them goes at you with the claws. And that's 11 points of slashing damage. From the second one. Actually, no, sorry. I tell a lie. Because this is multi-attacks. So that was first one. Second one misses you with the first attack. And with the second. At this point, you're curled up in a little ball, bleeding fairly significantly.
And swearing up a bloody storm about a certain individual who ran off and left me behind.
Very briefly, Aloy, please give me another perception check.
It's like I fought a robot. I have, at this point, danger happened, and I have no control over the damn thing.
Yeah, tell that to her later. See how well that floats.
It's not gonna float at all.
Oh my god.
Wow. What?
That was damn near a 0.
Well, I'm adding her +5 in my head, but you don't even hear the swearing. It's actually
There's just-
really depressing. Yeah, over the noise of Muffin. But anyway, Reba.
God.
Okay,
Perception.
Pulling myself together, quickly flashing back on earlier events, And given that it's now 4 against me, I need to even the odds. So Reba kind of paws the air a little bit, says some words in languages none of y'all understand. And I'm going to try to do conjure animals. Conjuring 2. I think I can get away with dire coyotes because I'm equating them to be dire wolves, which are rating 1. And according to the spell, I can do 2 rating 1.
Okay, I'll allow that because I don't have dire coyote.
Given meeting Caleb with the hides, it was like the first animal on her mind, so
Yeah,
that's why.
That's fine. Let me just, because at this point, I think I'm going to need to, because if I wasn't sure whether you were going to do that or just fucking run, so now that I know exactly what you're going to do,
Well, I'm
let's sort out.
not
some-
100% done. That's just and then run was the idea.
Yeah, but there's still 2 more before you can, and of course, given that we do need to determine exactly where they are versus where
Mhm.
you are, because they would have surrounded you.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So we're looking at attacks of opportunity here.
Mm-hmm.
So I still need to set up the map.
Sorry. I
No,
will,
no, it's fine. It's fine. This is what
Mhm.
this is what you're doing. It's cool. It's just trying to figure out exactly where you are and where they are. I wasn't entirely okay, so that would probably be okay, there we go.
Had I made initiative, that running would have. Yeah, I didn't. So, oh well.
Yeah, and at this point, it's one of those situations where you kind of have to hope that that
Mm-hmm.
animals count for these things, which I'll tell you this from an out of character perspective. Nope.
Didn't think so. But it's all like, I mean, she doesn't know that. Wouldn't have thought of that. Basically, it's just I need to put something between me and them, so I can, get.
Okay. Think that I'm just looking for something I can actually use as the critters here.
Hmm.
Well, given that at the moment what I'm using for
Actually, that's right. I can pop it out.
for these things is hook horrors. That's what the stats I'm using, so I may as well use them, although maybe slightly less big. There we go. So that's 1.
I love the fallen tree. That's nice.
I don't.
Yeah, 2 is sort of on it, looking at you. 3. And 4. So you're summoning 2 dire coyotes, so
Mm-hmm.
that's one book.
Them was big.
Well,
Woof.
dire kind of sums it up, really. Yeah, as close
Woof,
to you as
woof.
possible.
Mhm.
So, hang on. I just need to. Now I need to actually. Let's see. I've got the stats for dire wolf. You just that. And that's marked. So now let me just double check how conjure animals works. Yeah, roll initiative for the summoned creatures as a group. So their initiative is they're +2. So let's see. They rolled better fucking initiative than you, but unfortunately they don't go until your next turn. So.
And then I should still have. Do I still have movement?
You haven't moved at all, as far as I know.
Right, I haven't. So I still
So-
have that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then which way on the map is away?
Well,
Like, which
any direction is technically away.
I mean, oh, I'm on the property. I just wanted to know which direction I'm going to get to the edge.
To be honest, at this point, you're not 100% sure.
Okay.
You got bonked by a tree. You're surrounded by horrible things. And the only thing you know is that Aloy went that way.
Then I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah, that way, it being that way.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I'll do that. I will just start running. Boom.
And you provoke
I'm
Jillian.
gonna put my hands in the. I'm gonna put my fate in the hands of RN Jesus, and attacks of opportunity.
Yeah, it's not RN Jesus, though. It's
I
the
know.
purple peril.
Oh great, I'm dead. Well, at least unconscious.
Oh, ow. Yeah, okay, so that's 4, 8.
Point of order: I have 23 HP left. So
Well, that's 14 of them gone.
so
Uh,
9.
10.
Unconscious.
God
The wolves
damn it!
go
Roll a
poof.
perception worth a damn.
And the wolves go poof because it's a concentration spell. And I'm unconscious. So there we go.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, we're gonna have to deal with that later. We're very, very much going to have to deal with that later. I'm sorry, that was just horrific luck. They it was like
There was literally not a hell of a lot I could do. That's fine.
Okay, let's clear this because I might need it again later, but for the time being, oh, this is gonna go so well. Okay, sorry, going back to the front of the property, yeah, just on the outskirts of the property, you guys get just off the property when you hear from sort of a bit ahead and off to the left, because Muffin still has not stopped. Clank, 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 clank.
Jillian runs for the sound of clanking.
Yeah, they're easy to spot. Muffin's actually bounced into the next person, the farm across the road, and it's just still going until Aloy actually tells Muffin to stop.
Yeah, now that I've cleared the place, I'm just yelling, stop, 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 stop!
Muffin stops. Make me an athletics check.
And off I go!
Yep. Right off over the top of Muffin's head, because Muffin just comes to a complete halt. And
Ow!
into somebody's freshly planted cornfield. Woomph.
Oh.
And you guys notice that there is no Reba. This is a good 5 minutes after that happened, by the way, because it takes a little while to get off the property. And to be fair, 5 minutes is generous. Probably closer to 10. Because you guys were on foot.
Jillian runs up to where Aloy landed. Where's Reba?
Blink, blink, blink. Looking around. Oh no.
What happened?
Muffin!
Boop.
Aloy, what happened?
Okay. We got the whole getting watched thing.
No, Aloy, what happened?
We got attacked. I was getting to it.
Jillian, are there horses nearby now that they're back in the middle?
Well, there are more sort of, because you kind of left them parked, not nearby, but sort of within distance, within eyesight, line of sight, but you sort of parked them on the edge of the property, approaching, so to speak, and because they went right, they're sort of in the opposite direction of the horses. So you've got I mean, it's maybe a minute's walk, 30 seconds jog, so, but not.
Jillian runs for her horse and
Yeah.
mounts up to gallop in the direction Reba and Aloy originally went.
Okay, survival checks from both of you.
Oh my god.
You're not a
What?
you're not a hunter of that type, so you've got no the fuck idea. It doesn't take that much though for Caleb to spot human blood. Sort of on and around a fallen tree. With no sign of Reba. It's not enough blood to be fatal.
Oh, pull Prince up and and kind of slide off in one motion with the rifle in my hand and start looking for tracks.
I mean, mostly you're seeing larger versions of the scratch track marks that the little one left, but because they're not paw prints as you know them, you can't really tell what direction they went in, came to. You see they trampled. There's actually prints of a couple of dire coyotes, but there's certainly no evidence of dire coyotes anywhere near here.
Oh, this is just
This isn't even
cavalcade.
dire coyote territory. You have no the fuck idea what's going on now.
There's been dire coyotes here. And more of them things. There
Any
shouldn't be
sign of
dire
Reba?
coyotes here. Blood.
Mhm.
Those things are, I can't track them right. They were here, but I can't tell where they went.
There's no more blood trail.
It's not so much a trail. There's splatter, but it doesn't sort of go off in any one direction.
Looks like she got wounded over here. There's blood on the tree where it splattered, but I can't
Over here,
track it.
over there. I got wounded a few places.
You can tell that she tried to run.
Looks
But
like she ran over
something
this way and then stopped.
Yeah, it tried to run. She got a couple of paces. And then apparently got landed on.
Mm.
This ain't good. Still don't know where the dire coyotes came from but went.
God.
Need to focus on where
Uh,
Reba went.
Aloy, give me a straight up intelligence check. Honestly, though, all this is currently telling you is, hey, that's probably something Reba did, because you guys have been traveling along for a while, and her perfecting that would have been a matter of practice. So she may have conjured those in her defense, but if she's not focusing on them, they tend to poof.
Yeah, the coyotes, that would have been real.
She turned into a pair of dire coyotes?
Oh, not into a. She
What
made
kind
a
of
pair of
magic
them.
is that? Oh.
And then the minute she got, well, hurt, poof. Increasingly freaked out looking inventor.
Perception check from all y'all.
Really?
Yep.
It's not so much.
Wow.
It's not even so much you. It's
fucking RNG.
okay. Let's see, 3. You're starting to see eyes in the trees. 9 sets of them. They are not natural. They are not any kind of creature you have ever seen, and they sure as hell aren't Reba!
Something up there in the trees.
Not up. Just in.
As in, like, in the wood? In?
No, just. You know that thing where you're sort of standing in woodland and you see in the darkness eyes glowing at you? That feeling of being watched is back and stronger, and you all know that as soon as they get numbers enough, you are basically in Reba's position.
I think they're coming.
Made of vibration and nerves because I can't even process beyond need to find.
Let's take a step back off the property. This doesn't look like this isn't a good place to make a stand if we can't even see them coming.
Is that what you're doing?
And Jillian nudges her horse just to turn around and swiftly head in the appropriate direction.
Get on your metal horse. I ain't in the habit of running away, but I got nothing I can do here.
Indecisive, comply.
Okay, so you get off the property with that feeling of being watched, but no overt action taken against you.
I'm gonna be right up on the edge trying to look in.
I'm tempting fate here, a perception check. You see the occasional shadow moving in the woods. The house seems quiet. Can't quite see if anything's going on in the shed. It's too well shaded. But whatever is going on, you do know that whatever's in those woods are is on the offensive now.
Aloy, do you have anything that could distract him?
I have a muffin. I have. I have a flame that can't light anything on fire. But muffin apparently doesn't. They don't chase muffin. I can put a pattern on something that I can take an effect to.
Wait. Ignoring the
What?
fact that you just actually said you have a fire that won't burn anything. Is it obvious that it won't burn anything?
It just looks like fire. It looks
Um,
like a
Just
torch.
what if you gave the torch to Muffin and sent Muffin towards the house?
what spell is this?
Continual flame.
I mean, if it doesn't look any different, nothing tells them it's not going to burn.
They don't seem to care about Muffin. It seems like they can tell whether it's a person or not that's straying onto the property. So they might not be lured off so easily.
Well, the only other options we got would be to split up, and that's a real bad one.
No, we can't split up.
I mean, there's always just going straight for the shed.
Oh, we're gonna have to figure something out. The longer we sit here, the less of her's gonna be there when we get there.
All right. We'll hitch up the horses again, and we'll go on foot to the shed. Try to keep our heads down as long as we can, and keep a sharp eye out.
Okay. As we're starting towards there, I'm going to pull a grain back and put haste into it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm gonna also pull out a little, like a pocket watch looking thing. Put the green back on it. Put the little noise maker over top,
It's making that noise again.
and then I'm handing it to Jillian. If everything goes absolutely crazy, just focus on this, and you'll go a lot faster.
Well, why are we doing this without our horses?
We can't go. Horses will get noticed more easily, and if they lay any kind of traps,
All right,
it'll be
that's
the
fine.
horses that'll hit them
I'm
first.
good with traps. Then we'll do it this way.
We can't be going so fast that we can't see what's on in front of us.
Besides, you can't stealth on horses, which then leaves you with the problem of Muffin. Boop boop
Muffin.
boop.
Are we gonna find a place for right before we start really approaching for you to sit down? I'm gonna whistle if everything starts going wrong, and you come running. Okay?
Boop.
Well, Jillian, where are we going in from?
Hop the fence there, go straight for the shed. Quietly.
Okay. If this is what you're doing, all y'all give me stealth.
What?
Might actually make it.
This is apparently a fucking sneaking mission. Metal Gear Solid, let's go.
And Muffin's coming with you on this?
No, Muffin. When Jillian picked where, Muffin's there, and I'm gonna
Okay.
whistle, and Muffin can just come booking.
I'm making sure. You better hope you're close enough for Muffin to hear a whistle.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Because as you make your slow and stealthy way across the sort of scrub of woodland, quietly, you're getting farther and farther away from a muffin. But slowly, stealthily, there's a vague feeling of being watched, but this time it's not as threatening. And still you continue. You're having a hard time seeing Muffin through the trees at this point. And the shed is there within about 15-20 feet of you. It's cheap timber and rickety tin roof. Couple of windows sealed largely with what looks like wax paper.
Jillian looks for fresh blood around the door.
Perception check.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same. Watching for traps and seeing if I can trap
Yeah,
anything.
that's survival in your case. Neither of you see fresh blood or traps of any kind. Not that Jillian was looking for traps specifically, but
Well, is there a lock on the door?
not that you can see. Could be one from the inside. You don't know.
Break a window, hit the door. Break a window, hit the door. I could always just call Muffin now. What do you guys think?
You
Let's
don't
leave
even
Muffin.
know if she's in there.
You're standing by a shed.
Jillian goes to the door.
The door
Put my back to Jillian and keep the gun trained in case anything tries to come up behind us.
The door opens. Inside is... On each side you have... The door is flanked on either side by basically a couple of long work benches. There's a couple of piles of what you recognize as Queen Anne's lace. Several piles of vines, both on the tables and in the corners in the back. In the far right-hand corner, bones. A lot of bones. There's a couple of chunks of wood cut into rough oval shapes. They appear to be in the process of being painted. That's all you can see from the doorway anyway. But it's a tidy workshop for the rickety mess that the shed is. But there does not appear to be anyone living, any living being in that.
going in. Let's move so we can close this door and get moving.
Jillian steps in.
I may as well follow.
I'll come in behind and close the door as quietly as I can.
And you will see what Jillian saw. The workbench.
I'm going to examine the bones.
Jillian looks for a cellar door or anything in the like.
Okay, one thing at a time. Aloy, give me a medicine check.
No.
You don't want to think about it. You're just blanking out. You're having flashbacks to Kerboom and shambling undead things, and I mean you're basically caught up in role of absolute horror flashback, and oh god, what happens to Reba? Oh no, what did I do? Guilt and terror, and you are useless at the moment. Jillian, give me an investigation check. There is absolutely not a trapdoor in the cellar. You do, however, find what appears to be a very old book tucked in a very shallow shelf hidden on the underside of one of the work tables, which, even with just a base flip through, you don't recognize all the words, but you certainly recognize some of the symbols, and the voice of God within you is raging as you flip through this book. It seems to be the instructions for how to make these. He probably hasn't needed it in a while if he's making as many as the little ones suggested. But you have now found this absolute blasphemy.
Anything in the old book?
Does it say how to turn the big scary ones off?
Jillian stares down very hard at the book, snaps it closed. There's nothing to be learned from this, and she starts fishing out does she like matches?
I'm assuming so, yes.
She starts fishing out matches, looks for like a bucket or some kind of small container.
Hold on a
That'll give
second.
her-
What if that tells us what their weak points are? You can burn it after I'm done.
Hey, let's not burn it until we're safely away and not have caused a ruckus that will give our position away.
Okay, this is where Jillian makes a wisdom save. At disadvantage. There's a moment in which you know how much sense they're making. You know. But you are this is the point at which the next word you speak to them is entirely voice of God shit, because there is nothing to be learned from this as far as the what is divine within you is concerned. No, you're burning it.
Jillian, deep breath in, and she looks to them. Her voice thunders.
Oh god damn it.
She
Look at
goes,
this.
"The profane shall be scoured till there is nothing left but salt." Lights the match, drops it on the book. Opens the book, drops the match onto the pages.
It's a very old book, and it doesn't take much. It's just a very brief curl of pages, and then whoomph. Yeah, actually, wisdom saving throws from both of you. Thankfully, you're not at disadvantage, but you haven't got, blessings from the Lord Almighty, so. Yeah, that was fucking terrifying. That is very close to frightened for 1 minute fear. Because that was, I mean, that was holy. That was the voice of God, and you're not entirely sure what to do with that. Jillian has used it in Aloy's presence, but it's never been directed at her before. And Caleb has just met the antithesis of everything he's been fighting, and it's kind of horrible. It's terrifying. That is just sheer atavistic terror for a second.
He opens his mouth like he's trying to speak, but really all he can do is barely hold on to his gun because his hands are shaking.
The moment
Jillian
passes.
is watching it burn for like a moment.
Yeah.
She's not really paying attention to them.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be left burn for very long. It, like I say, very old vellum paper, and it's dried to the kind of degree where it like leaves burning. You've just got next to nothing left within a few seconds. So it could quite easily be put out after that if they're that worried about it.
After that moment, Jillian pulls at the edge of the cover if there's anything intact enough to pull without.
Yeah, the leather of
burning,
the leather of the cover
floor.
is the leather of the cover is fairly intact, so you can sort of flip it over and stomp on it a couple of times to
Yeah,
put the
that's
fire
what she
out. But
does.
there's no actual paper left in it.
Just meebling noises.
Jillian takes another breath, nice and calm, looks to the two of them. Let's look for a cellar in the farmhouse. Reba has to be around here somewhere.
You're gonna try and break in the fucking farmhouse. Oh my god.
Just meebling noise.
I don't know what that was, but I'd kind of appreciate it if you wouldn't do it to me again.
I did tell you you would know when I was speaking the word.
Yeah, but I didn't know you were going to speak it at me, lady.
Let's just get going.
All right. Let's do like we did before. And hope we have as good luck.
Oh, we're gonna have to wait until Smeagol comes back.
His image is a couple floating squares on my screen. Has been for a while, so I didn't know he's gone.
No, he's currently what I am seeing is his bed and a set of headphones. Meantime, while we're waiting for Smeagol to return, Reba, because this has taken a while. The sneaking, because you only move at half speed when you're sneaking, and that's without investigations, pausing at doors, and all the rest of it. So this has taken a good 20 minutes on top of all the rest of the time. Reba wakes up with 1 hit point. It's kind of sludgy and swampy. You're not thankfully in the sludge. You are sort of tied to what one could only call a sacrificial altar in this swamp area. You are bound, you are gagged, and you appear to be alone.
Okay. um, Taking stock of this, I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'm gonna squirm a little to test the bonds. See.
You're not going anywhere. And because you cannot move your hands and you cannot speak, magic is not gonna happen.
Yep. So I'll just look around
Mostly,
as best I can.
yeah, mostly you just see swampland.
Okay, at least I'm alive.
You're very badly hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
my world is ow right now.
You have,
But-
however, been mostly bandaged. There's a noise to your left. A quiet squelch, squelch, squelch. Give me a perception check.
Nope. 7.
What you see, because it's not like you can't see, it's just because there's a lot of tree shading the area and your own blurred vision from various bonks and blood loss. All you see is a white oval face with what appears to be a pair of spectacles painted on it. Tall, cadaverous thing. And a sort of clicking noise that suggests this individual is not alone, and that's why you can see them.
In the back of my mind, I'm like, of course it'd have to be a white guy.
Well, it does.
Even the monsters are white out here.
It's like the others. It's made of bones and vines, but it seems a bit more solid, and also seems oddly, over some of the vine and bone, be rather nattily dressed. Which in a way is even more terrifying because it kind of looks like an undertaker.
That was my first thought when you said tall and spectacles and cadaverous. I was like, oh great, they're measuring me. Wonderful.
Well, actually, what this individual does is reach out with a literally bony hand and pull at the bandages so that, I mean, you're not bleeding anymore, but you know how there's still, there's the smell of an open wound and that tiny seep of blood that isn't life-threatening, but it's enough to attract attention in a swamp. It looks down at you. And give me a nature check. Yep. They're apparently summoning gators. Or something. Something that is probably going to turn you into dinner, and you don't know how long it's going to take to get something's attention, but these things are probably not going to be in the vicinity when they arrive. So you're probably safe for another hour or so. maybe. But something's going to be attracted by the scent of your blood soon, and they are going to pick your bones. If gators don't get you, buzzards will.
Mm-hmm. I'm there. I mean, he's still right there, so I'm not going to start squirming yet. But I'm going to wait and see how. I'm going to wait for. I'm going to give it like 5 or 10 minutes to see what they, if they disappear or stick around. After that, whether they're there or not, I'll start squirming for all I'm worth because it's all I can do.
Yeah, unfortunately, at your strength, and given that this is solid leather with some metal bracing, you're not moving.
I mean, it's all I can do. It's
I-
literally all I can do. So
I'm aware, but I just wanted to partially to kill some time while Smeagol was away, but just
Mhm.
to let you know what was going on. Yeah, all of the rest of the rattling noises that you hear at the edges dissipate, but this one cadaverous being stays in line of sight. Seems to be studying. Even as you start to squirm. It's just watching.
how secure is the gag?
Very.
Okay.
I mean, let's face it, they had a lot of time to secure you
Yeah.
properly before you passed out.
Yeah, they
Well,
did.
before you woke up, rather. So
Yeah, a good.
that
Yeah.
that's a take 20 situation. You ain't going no place.
Okay. Well, hurry up, guys.
Yeah, you
No
guys,
pressure.
you
I'm
guys,
only dying here.
you guys know absolutely none of this, and are sneaking in the direction of the farmhouse. So give me stealth, all y'all. Oh dear. Mm. Caleb is still shaking. Thankfully, he's, because I'm taking a more or less an average, he's a skilled enough hunter that he can at least make sure that he's not, out in the open, as it were, when he's still shaking. So, as far as you're aware, you get to the storm cellar doors on the outside of the building with no obvious beyond that feeling of somebody or something watching you. These are locked, chained and padlocked.
I'm
Jillian
gonna
looks to Aloy.
I'm gonna break out the thieves' tools and try and crack this thing.
Go forth. Okay. Yeah, the lock on the door does not stand a chance against Aloy's command of science and gadgets and things. Okay,
Hey,
door's unlocked.
if there's anything remotely creepy in here, I'm going to set the place on fire, and we're just gonna book it for the next place in this area. Swamp.
Jillian waves Aloy back once she opens the door and goes in first, pistol in hand.
Okay. It's dark down there, and none of y'all can see in the dark.
I'm going to flip the widget on, and cast continual flame.
Okay, and all of a sudden, Aloy is holding what appears. She appears to have set the head of her widget on fire.
And it's still making the damn noise.
Yeah, there's your stealth right out the fucking window. Okay. But it lights the room, and what you see is shelves of preserves, barrels of molasses, bags of flour, food supplies,
Damn it!
and a very large, very battered cat. Sitting on an unopened bag of flour, growling at you.
Taking a step back from the cat.
Easy does it, cat. We're not here for you. We're not going to steal anything.
Defending its territory to a point. Too lazy to actually move, but does hiss and make a half-hearted swipe in your general direction.
Jillian, is it perception or investigation too?
It'd be
Search.
investigation to search for any hidden doors, etc.
Is it same for me or something different for my group?
Well, in your case, you have Dungeon Delver, so let me remind myself what the hell.
Oh.
Yeah, you have advantage on investigation checks, although in your case you're probably going to want to do perception checks because your intelligence is for shit. But if Jillian's actively looking, she's going to want, yeah. It's hard to tell for her without moving shit. And she's trying to very quietly move shit while dealing with this cat hissing at her every time she touches anything. So, yeah. If you look at your character sheet, you'll see a toggle advantage, disadvantage. Click on advantage. Remember to switch it back after you've rolled, and roll me perception.
Ooh.
Pretty much directly behind the cat, and its piles of flour bags. There is something that looks like it's probably some kind of door. Very low, almost very small, almost a dumbwaiter kind of door. A person could probably fit into it if they were, on hands and knees.
I think what you're looking for is behind that pissed off cat.
Oh no.
Jillian sighs impatiently, takes out a piece of jerky, and
Oh,
rips
God.
off a smaller piece.
Okay, we're gonna have to. This is gonna be interesting because the person who talks to animals is the one you're looking for.
And Jillian's thinking that.
Okay, give me animal handling. Apparently, time spent with Spot has got Jillian, and who knows, possibly barn cats back home, and just tempts the cat off the flour bags, and it winds up across the room, sitting on a few boxes of miscellaneous bits, gnawing on the jerky and purring in this rusty old cat kind of way. The flour bags are still in the way, but the cat's mollified.
I'm going to try and examine look Sherlock scan the thing. If I can look at it from here and try and observe what
Well,
it looks like.
the bags are still in the way.
Jillian starts moving the bags.
Okay, strength check.
I'll help.
With advantage then, if Caleb's helping.
Do I turn advantage on too?
Or no, because that's a save, not a check. And basically, what happens is your assistance gives Jillian advantage, so you don't have to roll.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
Jillian's kind of skinny.
Jillian kind of drops it on her foot. You would have been better off if we went with the save, but Jillian sort of drags one of the bags a short distance, and then boom, it lands on her foot. No actual damage, but kind of ow.
Jillian hisses very sharply.
What? I
The
feel
cat
for Muffin right about now.
cat looks up at her, sort of. Aw. Does Caleb want to take over here?
Yeah, let me try.
Okay, now since Jillian is not going to be helping you, you just roll straight up strength. Thank you. Yeah, Caleb has no issue with this whatsoever. So yeah, what you have is a door that, again, the largest of you, that would be Caleb, would be able to fit on hands and knees. You'd all need to be that low to get in. So low, not overly wide kind of door. And it's padlocked.
Okay, here we go. Thieves' tools come out.
Yeah, okay. This one's a little bit trickier, not too much. It takes a minute or two's worth of wiggling, and click, it opens.
Can I try to basically Sherlock scan it while I'm here?
What, the door? What are you looking for?
I'm trying to figure out if opening the door we be going up into the house, or is there any other direction it'd be going as I'm like pulling it slightly open?
Okay, you need to have it open a little bit more than that, at least enough for you to get a good look at what's inside.
Okay.
So, opening the door, you do not actually find a corridor exactly. What you find is the room is about the same depth as it is wide. It's basically almost like a little cupboard. The entire back wall is covered with a map of the property, as far as you can tell anyway. That's Jillian anyway, that's Aloy anyway, because she's more or less blocking the door at this stage because it's not huge. There's a pile of things, bones and rocks painted with symbols and oddly colored feathers, and there's the symbols drawn in an ink that is sort of a brownish red and kind of flaking in places. A lot of those seem to be centered around the swamp area, as far as you can see on the map.
Oh boy.
Jillian tries to look over her
Yeah,
shoulder.
unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Whatever they're doing, it's focused on the swamp.
How do you know?
Oh, there's a map in here, and I'm gonna step aside and just continue holding up the flame in the way so you can see the thing.
A map.
Jillian looks over things very quickly, looking towards the map especially.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see exactly what I just described.
Yes.
Why do I get the feeling we're gonna have to go in the swamp?
Let's get going.
Yeah,
Running.
faster would be better.
As you're backing away from the door, the little door, the cellar door leading in from the house opens. And the voice that Jillian and Caleb recognize as the sheriff. Y'all want to stop where you are now?
Jillian whirls about and starts to go down before she stops herself.
Yeah, the sheriff and a couple of what appear to be deputies come down the stairs. And they look at the three of you. All right now. I was minded to be a little bit easy as far as reports of maybe folks inching around the property. But breaking and entering, that's something else. Y'all want to come with us now?
We were
Sheriff.
looking for our friend. She got
All
hurt.
due
This is a
respect.
conversation that we are not going to have in the house you just broke into.
Sheriff.
Outside!
Mm.
I'd prefer not to actually arrest you.
Jillian starts moving outside.
Was I able to actually get a look at the map?
Yeah?
Okay.
You gotta look at the map. Yeah, you all did. You all decided that the swamp was where you were heading. It was just as you were backing away to leave was when you were apprehended.
I just want to make sure for the purposes of Wanderer.
Yep. Yeah, you did get a look at the map. The sheriff does you the courtesy of not leading you through the house. Takes you up through the storm cellar doors, but does escort you to the edge of the property. Now, y'all mind telling me why you're breaking into folks' houses?
Sheriff, if you look in the shed out there, I think you'll find the remains, in part, of the poor souls who have gone missing.
Our friend went missing on the edge of the property, so we went looking. And that's what we found. We still haven't found our friend yet.
Okay. Jillian and Caleb, make me persuasion checks. Jillian has advantage because she's actually focused on. Sorry, Reba, but she's actually focused on the bit the sheriff cares about. Yeah, looking at you, it's like, I'll deal with one thing at a time, and I'll deal with the shorter one first. Begging your pardon, sir, but folks around here, some would say as how someone who was trespassing on another man's property probably got what they deserved. But, not the point. Now, leaving aside the fact that I ain't exactly up and deputized you, how are you sure, miss?
It's hard to put these things into words, but pausing a bit. Did she see any human skulls there?
Now we roll the hand of fate. Yes. That was
Oh
a
my
nat.
goodness.
That was a nat 20 on the on the hand of fate. So there you go. Like I say, sometimes my dice liking me works in your favor. Yeah, that's something that that Aloy probably would have seen if she hadn't been too busy freaking out.
I saw the skulls of human beings in there, Sheriff. Stripped down to the bone. All you gotta do is look.
And you're quite sure that these aren't simply older skulls. Given that that was a nat 20, that would have been child-sized, and that would mean either the recently missing children or somebody's been grave robbing, and either way...
I'm quite sure one of them poor children.
I got a feeling that y'all are being a bit more cagey about this than necessary. And I ain't sure that I can go letting you wander this property. This is sounding now like something that ought to be in the hands of the law.
Sheriff, our friend is in danger. We need to get to her right now. We both want the same thing here. We want the culprit brought to justice. I have an inkling we'll find him along with her.
And what exactly is your notion of justice, miss? Give me a wisdom saving throw. Again, at disadvantage.
Holy shit!
You managed to tamp down on the voice that is basically going cleanse the place with fire and smite the unholy, because you're basically turning around and going, look, Lord, I get it. I want the same thing, but if you tell this man that, we're not gonna get to do it! So, continue, as
The
if
little
not
child's
possessed
body
by
in
the Lord.
there. There's only one answer for that.
Y'all know we still have a justice system, don't you?
You're welcome to the man once we find him.
I'm still not entirely sure about this we, miss. I ain't exactly up and deputized you.
I think you could use all the hands you could get if you intend on going on that farm. It's more than just a farmer with a shotgun out there. And due respect, it's not something everyone's equipped for.
Oh God.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Give me a persuasion check and pray you roll well. Ma'am, I got more than these deputies. And y'all don't exactly know what we're equipped for. So, begging your pardon and meaning no disrespect, I think you ought to be leaving this to the hands of the law. Now, because of the help you've been in this investigation, I'm perfectly willing to overlook the fact that y'all were trespassing on a man's property and breaking into his house. I'm perfectly willing to let that slide, as long as y'all walk away.
I think I hear my horse. Let's head back.
Jillian takes a deep breath in. The light in the back of her eyes and the thunder in her voice.
Oh, God.
Oh.
No.
Let me check the spell details.
Can you put up the spell card, please, so I know what the hell you're doing?
Leave it level 3. So there's 2 deputies, right?
Yep. Oh, God.
If you just thunders leave at the 3 lawmen.
Okay, and that's wisdom saving throws. What's the spell save DC?
14.
Sheriff rolled a natural 20.
Oh my god.
Deputy 1 rolled a 15. Deputy 2 runs for his life, because that wasn't that one. Okay. I tried to play nice with you, ma'am. And I don't know what the hell you are, But I got 3 words for you, Missy. You're under arrest. And given we're about that time, we're going to take a break.
God damn it, Jillian!
It was worth. It could have worked. It could have worked.
It would have been worth it if it had worked. But
Famous last words.
we'll be back in 5 minutes to
DC.
figure out the yeah. And we're back with 3 of their number being told that they are under arrest. The sheriff and remaining deputy now pointing guns at you. While that is going on, we return to Reba.
Still squirming.
Yeah, when it's clear that you're not going anywhere, and one assumes that one knows that gators or buzzards or both are coming, the Undertaker-looking thing stalks away. More squirming for a couple more minutes. You're starting to chafe your wrists and ankles, and that's more blood, by the way. And as you're tilted, sort of looking upside down at the swamp things, what appears in your vision is 3 small puppet things, still made of the same vines, Queen Anne's lace, and little masks that give the impression both just looking like it was meant to and a sort of an aura of just attractiveness and just plain cute. And they're looking at you. Still squirming, apparently.
It's this look of like, and like, could use a little help here, you know.
There is a tug feeling at one of the ones on your wrists, and your wrist is free.
That's terrible. Going for the other one. I'm just doing it, man.
Yeah, you can undo them from there. They're just standing watching that expression that you've seen on so many, usually little black kids. We're gonna get in so much trouble. But yeah, you're apparently free. And
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh god. Aloy.
and very, 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 very faintly, somewhere in between the Aloy, you hear. It's almost not a word, but you can just about catch run.
Okay, hearing that. Hang on, let me. There it is. I popped out my character sheet. Sorry, I lost track of it in the panic and the flailing on my side that I was literally doing. You did this to me. Sorry. I'm going to do. Whoops! I didn't mean to. I meant to hit the thing. Anyway. Where is it? Primal Beast. Guardian of Nature, Primal Beast. So to increase my speed, and I'm gonna run.
Okay, make me an athletics check.
Okay. Let's see. Core. Athletics. 4. I'm gonna keep going as long, regardless.
Yeah, you're bleeding. You're hurt. I mean, you're going faster, but you're not exactly. You're not exactly an endurance level at this point. There's that rattling of beads again.
That's concentration. I can't do it. Wait, actually, I can. With concentration, I can do another spell as long as it's not a concentration spell.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. So then, let me see. Oh, they're all concentration. Never mind. And greater restoration doesn't actually heal any points, so that would be not any good. And that requires concentration. So I will just have to keep running.
Okay, give me one more athletics check.
Okay. Worse. 3.
You're limping along, and there's still that rattle of beads, but it's cocked. You, on a straight shot, and in effectively the opposite direction from the front of the property, you manage to get across the property line and over someone's fence into someone else's field before collapsing in a faintly bleeding heap.
Am I still conscious?
Yes, you're still conscious and just about able to hear in the trees the reason that you managed to get as far as you did. The sound, the not quite sound of those monstrous things, and not quite screams as they tear those little ones apart.
Exhaustion and that sound, she's crying at this point. Quietly, just tears.
Okay, we'll leave
Leave it there for now.
we'll leave Reba complete emotional wreck. Complete physical wreck. Because you've got like 1 hit point right now. Jillian, Caleb, Aloy. Now you'll drop your weapons and come quietly now. And not one word out of you pointing at Jillian. Pointing weapon at Jillian. And we start shooting. The other one points their weapon at Aloy. They're sort of trying to keep between Aloy and Caleb, but it's pretty clear that it's not Jillian alone who's gonna get shot if she says one damn word.
I'm gonna pull the rifle out, open it disarm style, and just sort of hand it over.
And takes the weapon, looks at it like, what the fuck is this thing?
Please don't poke it.
Oh god, this is gonna be good. Is Jillian going to see sense? Because now Aloy is unarmed. Muffin over by the horses is sort of dancing in just boop, boop, boop.
Can you go quiet
boop.
my mule?
It comes over here. If you're gonna do that, you're not moving.
Okay. Muffin, come here.
Chunk, 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 boop, 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 boop.
Hug.
Caleb, people are still pointing guns.
So we can see, we got Muffin here with us, and we can see the direction of the horses, which we know are off the property from here, correct?
Well, you're all off the property, but yes.
Oh.
Oh god. This is gonna be hysterical. Okay, go on.
All right. Look over at Jillian. It's a shame we're not closer to our horses over there, isn't it? To make sure that she looks in the right direction. And then I'm gonna cast Fog Cloud.
Oh god. Okay. Put up the spell card, please. I mean, to be fair, to be fair, they'll be able to see you do that. Are you going to be trying to not let them see that?
I would prefer not to get shot on sight. I'm not sure how to put up the spell card, by the way.
Well, I'll look up the spell card while you give me sleight of. I'll look up the spell while you give me sleight of hand. Just stealth, I think.
You can click on the spell name itself, and that should
When I
pop the
did
card.
that, it asked me if I
Stealth.
wanted to cast it.
Well, yeah, you gotta.
Oh no, what he means in the anyway. I'll
Anyway.
just look it up.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So oh god. Yeah,
That's appalling.
that is in fact appalling. Oh no. Okay. Nope. That's the point at which, as a reaction, the sheriff shoots at you. Cocked. Okay. Oh dear. What's your AC?
13.
Oh shit. Okay, so that's 1d10 plus his dex. Yeah, you don't get the spell cast because he shoots at you for 11 points of piercing damage. And I would like you all to roll initiative.
Jillian's ready at least.
Hello, apparently it's too busy hugging
By
Muffin.
the way,
Yeah, but your Muffin's metal at least.
no,
and your-
Muffin isn't.
Muffin is kind of metal, but Muffin is still capable of being killed.
Muffin presumably has a higher armor class.
No. No, Muffin has a worse armor class than me.
Oh, psh. Oh,
What did
never
you
mind.
think
then.
Muffin
Well,
was?
because he's easy to hit because he's big.
No, that's fair. But it's a robot. Never mind.
Metal does not mean armor class.
Boy, I hope that it's a robot wasn't in character.
No, Jillian's.
So Jillian doesn't even know the word robot.
That's why I was confused.
Anyway, top of the round, Jillian.
Jillian's gun whips out, voice thunders, vengeance belongeth unto the Lord, and I will recompense it. And okay, now I need to look at this. Okay, so okay, first question. Divine accuracy says I get advantage and I can re-roll. Do I re-roll before or after you declare?
Before I declare whether it hits or not.
Okay,
It's
and
always before I declare
Okey-doke.
whether it hits or not. Although
if I do a called shot, that's a disadvantage. Does that cancel out?
ooh, I don't think so. Sorry, I do think so. So yeah, that would give you I mean, basically that would cancel out the disadvantage, so you make a straight up roll, and before I call whether it succeeds or fails, if you need to re-roll, you re-roll and pick whichever one of the two rolls you want to keep.
Okie doke. So that is deny shot to gain advantage. She shoots at the sheriff's. She shoots at the sheriff's thigh.
Yeah, but no,
What? Oh,
you don't roll at advantage because
Oh, yeah, sorry. That's my
because we're
bad.
supposed to cancel out. Sorry, can you re-roll that without the advantage? Okay, do you want to roll again?
No. 20.
Okay, roll damage. Okay. Okay then. The deputy freaking right the fuck out. Switches aim to Jillian. Because booming voice and glowing fucking bullets and yeah. Oh my god. Oh no. Actually,
Nat 20.
yeah, but technically, before we do that, Jillian does get a second attack, I think.
Yes.
Yes, but you don't know this is happening, and I'm keeping that fucking roll. Sorry, but
That's totally fair. Is the sheriff? What happened to the sheriff?
this is within 6 seconds, so you've just shot at him, and he's screaming. What do you think is happening?
Oh, that's. I mean, is he still on his feet?
Yeah.
And she shoots at his foot.
There are things I wish I could say, but I can't.
Okay. Do you want to roll again?
Yes.
Yeah, ties go to defender, so that one he manages to dodge out of the way of. Yes, Deputy does in fact change his aim to Jillian, and he's not bothering with her fucking leg. So that's 14 points of piercing damage, and he's shooting again. Oh my! What the fuck?
That's
Oh
another
no,
nat 20,
sorry,
isn't it?
because that's doubled. That's 24 points of piercing damage for the first one, and the second one. That's 2 plus 6. Fuck me. And that's 24 points of piercing damage.
Oh my god. I regret this.
Why? Why do you keep doing these things?
It's Caleb's fault. Absolutely Caleb's fault.
Why were you shooting at his leg and not like other places?
Because she doesn't want to kill innocent people for doing their fucking jobs.
The minute I heard possible trick shot, make him drop the gun.
That probably would have been a
Well, maybe
late.
Aloy can shout that on her turn, which is not coming for quite some while. To be perfect.
Exactly.
Caleb, Jillian is in some significantly bad shape due to 2 very well placed chest shots. These poor suckers are just trying to do their goddamn jobs.
There's only 3 things that I can do, one of which results in somebody dying, and the other 2 is me get away or maybe us get away. Okay, so I have an idea. It's not a great idea, but we're in a bad situation. If I cast Misty Step, I can move up to 30 feet in any unoccupied direction, right?
Yes.
Could I teleport behind the sheriff so I can put the gun to his head and tell everybody to stand down?
You can do that, yes. You're going to need to make me an intimidation check,
Okay.
and that will be your turn.
So, what do I do? Just cast the spell and then make the roll?
You don't need to cast. You don't need to click anything to cast the spell. We all know what Misty Step does,
Oh,
so it's fine.
okay.
So, as far as I'm concerned, you're behind the sheriff, pointing the gun at his head, and A, act it out, then B, roll the dice.
Woof. Cock the hammer, the rifle at the back of his head. I think it would be best if we all just calm down right now. Otherwise, it's going to get messy and unfortunate.
Okay. Aloy.
I am. So my gun's in disarmed mode. I got
And
it's in
and
the
you,
deputy's hand.
yeah, it's in the deputy's hand, yes. And Muffin is just going boop, 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 boop. And currently Caleb is pointing a rifle at the back of the sheriff's head. And you don't know what they're going to do yet. You do not have this kind of time, my dude.
No, I don't, and that's why I'm just going to go. We've got bigger concerns than this stupid clusterfuck, all of you.
Give me a persuasion check.
That's
Okay. The deputy is gonna wait and see what the the deputies already had their turn, so it is the sheriff's go. Well, we appear to be at a bit of an impasse then, don't we? Because we all could stand here all day, but that don't change the fact that Missy here, that weren't natural. That, points at Muffin, ain't natural. What you just did,
Poke him in the back of the head a little bit easy.
what you did weren't natural neither.
And neither's what's happening to the people in your town that you seem to be overlooking that we're trying to do something about, old man.
Oh my god.
Jillian grits her teeth. He's teetering.
Yeah,
I'm happy to take this bunch and just walk straight out of town from here.
would you? 'Cause that'd be
Yes!
great. That'd be
Jillian
great, thanks.
stays, snaps to Aloy.
Sorry, it was Aloy actually being honest about that.
Yes, about leaving,
Never said anything about coming back.
about coming, exactly.
Okay, but okay.
Does
so-
that qualify?
Well, given that insight check, now see, if I thought for one moment that you'd stay gone, I might actually. And I ain't overlooking the people in this town, but fact is, y'all wander into town. Start breaking into places like you're above or beyond the law. This one starts. I don't even know what that was. You ain't above the law. Now I'm happy to
Very-
stop shooting because I don't particularly want to murder y'all, because clearly your hearts are more or less in the right place. I didn't
Yeah.
want to shoot at you. I just wanted to get you away from this gentleman's house so that we wouldn't be having the conversation about what he's been up to when whatever he's got in and around his property might come and cause us problems. Do y'all not know a bluff when you see one? Damn, I hope y'all don't play cards.
See, I knew what you were getting at.
Y'all
I
are
knew that
dipshits.
before you shot me.
An evil on this farm.
And I didn't want to say that within earshot of the fucking farm. Because then they wouldn't know that I'd be happy to let you back on it, you stupid bitch. Now can we not have this conversation where it might be overheard by God knows what?
Yes, please.
Ugh! And can y'all stop pointing that at me? I'm sorry, she started shooting at me.
Caleb, put it down.
When this is done, you and I are going to have a talk. I owe you for this bullet I'm carrying. Otherwise, we need to get to the swamp and see if that's where our friend is, if she's even still alive.
No, we need to have a conversation.
Yes.
Not
Because-
here.
Doubly so, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere into the swamp because points at Jillian. Look at that.
She does need medical attention. My deputy's a good shot.
Come on, let's go get this sorted out
And
before anyone else.
excuse me, insofar as that conversation that you and I need to have about the bullet that you're sporting, may I remind you that you was speaking in tongues and waving your hands all mystic-like, and given the amount of sheer unnatural, that was self-defense. So y'all can take your conversation about the bullet that you're sporting and shove it.
Jillian grits her teeth,
Jillian,
Panning
it's
of it,
way too
panning of it,
much
she-
for me to fight this about it.
points her pistol upwards instead.
Y'all might want to holster that, ma'am.
Completely away, everybody.
And he
Slowly.
holsters his own.
Bolsters it.
I'm walking towards my horse. If you shoot me in the back, I will hunt you.
Oh, he and his deputy have already holstered their weapons. The deputy very, very reluctantly hands Aloy's lightning cannon back to her. I'd take it as a kindness if you'd keep that in the disarm position, ma'am.
Sure, hang on. The little bit more fiddling so I can close it back up, but still basically turn it off.
Yeah. We are going to the next farm to get your friend here and yourself patched up. And me, frankly.
Yep.
Now y'all
Okay.
don't cause us any more trouble, alright? With some difficulty gets back on his own horse and waits for you guys to mount. Jillian's gonna have a hard time with that.
Yeah, I was gonna go help.
Jillian tries.
I was gonna go help the sheriff mount up, and then help Jillian get onto Muffin.
Jillian's going for her own horse.
Yeah, but Jillian's gonna have a hard time putting a foot in the stirrup, and the horse is not thrilled at the smell of blood.
Muffin, come here.
Clunk, 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 boop, 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 boop.
Jillian, you're sitting on Muffin. Don't argue.
Jillian glowers at Aloy.
And then I'm gonna get on Jillian's horse.
Jillian glowers more at her.
Do something. I'm not just gonna walk and lead.
So
Gets on Muffin.
yeah, Muffin actually hunkers down so that she doesn't have to hoist herself to any degree. So just boop boop chunk. And when Jillian is safely aboard, boop. clunk, 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 and off they go to the next farm down the way, which turns out to belong to the deputy who ran away, who is still freaking out at the sight of Jillian, because he ran home. And when he sees Jillian clumping into his dooryard on Muffin, looks at the sheriff like, I ain't gonna say it's alright, because this is far too confusing, but we're gonna have a conversation about some of the weird that's going on, because I don't think they're responsible for it or involved in it, but it's pretty damn clear they want to be. So I'm going to try and figure out exactly what all it is that they're up to and what they're planning to do about it that the law can't do, now that we are not being overheard by Wyatt and whatever's wandering around his property. And also, can you get your missus to help patch some folks up? Yes, sir. Boom. I mean, he's a weedy young man who's probably only like 2 years married, so.
Thank you, Sheriff, and sorry about this whole mess.
I have a word for you, and the word is ow. Anything else is gonna have to wait until I'm fairly sure people ain't gonna be bleeding out. All right. Into the house, and yeah, I think we ought to stay just in the parlor for the time being and not sit on anything, because I don't really want to bleed all over the furnishings. It's a modest little farmhouse. It actually reminds Jillian a lot of the home that she spent time in when she was not droving.
Jillian's leaning on a wall, bleeding.
Yeah, woman who comes out, faded gingham frock, apron, mousy brown hair, tied up haphazardly in a snood, and her sewing kit, and a couple of bottles that apparently contain something disinfectant. Alright, I've got some space in the kitchen. You look worse hurt, miss. If you'd like to come with me.
Jillian hobbles along.
While that's going on, Reba. Once the crying has
Subsided a bit.
subsided a bit, you do get a chance to take stock of your surroundings. You're in a field of what appears to be timothy grass, and off to your, so it's very far forward and off to the left, there appears to be a farmhouse. At the very least, it's someplace where hopefully, hopefully you can at least get patched up, and or at least from there figure out where the road is.
Yeah. Before setting off, I'm going to take a moment, and I'm going to cast Healing Spirit to patch me up just a little bit more, so I have a little bit more than just 1 HP.
Okay. Can you...
Which will, I can, so yeah,
So 1d6.
Yeah, 1d6. So I'll just do a quick roll 1d6 real fast. Because at this point, even 2 HP is better than 1 HP. 6 there. Hey!
You have 7 HP. You still hurt like hell, but the bleeding is stopped.
Oh, thank ancestors for that. Okay. And yeah, I will very slowly, very carefully head off in the direction. I'm duration is up to a minute. I probably can't do that. Have it do that again in the time.
No, probably not.
Okay. Okay.
You
Since it
got
wasn't
you
in
got
combat,
you got max. It's
yeah, I'm not going to push it. Since we're not in combat, I didn't know how that was going to run. So that's fine. Figured I'd ask. Anyway, yeah. So
yeah. You hobble
head
your
there.
way through the Timothy grass and through, and eventually get to someone's kitchen garden and back back door to a little farmhouse, and from somewhere in the front of the house, you hear boop,
I hear what?
boop. That's Muffin. So,
Well, wait. I'm about to go, and I hear that. I'm like,
and there's a certain amount of swearing from Jillian, who's had wounds disinfected with some unfortunately stinging shit. So you hear swearing. You still haven't knocked on the door, so
no, because I'm just like, I'm warring with myself. I'm just like, that's Jillian. Oh, Aloy had better be hurt too.
I'm the only one who hasn't taken damage.
she was actually sensible, though. Okay, so
Okay, so I'm gonna walk around to the front of the house then.
yeah, and
I'm not gonna knock on the back door. I'm gonna walk around to the front.
there's
Having heard the familiar boop.
and Muffin sees Reba about to get down. Boop, 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 and then whistle, whistle, whoop,
I'm
Here I come.
and out of the farmhouse comes Aloy, completely unharmed.
Oh, thank everything.
Okay, Reba's walking up to Aloy and punching her square in the face.
Okay, roll me a straight strength check, because you have no advantages to unarmed combat. What's Aloy's AC?
AC is 14.
1d4.
Yes.
Four.
Yeah, Aloy is now sporting a black eye, or what will be a black eye.
Okay, yeah, that was deserved.
Deserved nothing. They were going to kill. I was going to be gator food.
Did we hear?
They literally shredded me, tied me to
You
a
don't-
table,
You don't
and were going to feed me to the alligators.
you don't hear exact words, but there's a certain cadence that, while Caleb doesn't recognize it because he doesn't know her well enough, Jillian, make me a perception check. And Caleb knows that Aloy's gone out, and there's yelling.
Smack.
There's smack, and then there was yelling. And Jillian trying to focus past the pain as her wounds get stitched up, and a bullet is getting fished out of sort of the region of her collarbone. Yeah, that's Reba, and she's pissed.
Is the farm wife still stitching?
She's just about finished, but not quite yet. In fact, she's sort of holding you down with the hand. Whatever's going on, you need that looked at first. And you, sir, you ain't going nowhere. You're next.
To the sheriff.
Jillian stays where she's lying.
No, that's
Or
to
to
Caleb.
Oh, the Caleb. My bad.
Yeah. So yeah.
Basically, the rant continues along in that vein, also mentioning you. You left me behind. Yeah.
When you're when
You,
she
like you, and then points to Muffin. And Muffin, you both left me behind.
Boop.
yeah,
The only reason why I don't do worse is there are children involved.
Boop. Boop. Boop.
If you're done,
Boop.
because if you want to keep going, it's with you're perfectly. It's perfectly reasonable for you to. So, yes.
She just walks into the house.
Okay, by the time Reba walks into the house, she's the farm wife has finished the stitching, put on fresh bandages, and is sort of going. Looks at Reba.
Pardon.
People knock where I
Reba.
come from.
Pardon. And it just sort of gestures at what's left of herself. Pardon?
Sorry,
Pardon, ma'am?
Sheriff. You're next. Get and nudges Jillian off her table. Stitches now.
Jillian
Doesn't
hobbles
even
up to
argue,
Reba.
just- And as she's walking into the kitchen, my pardon, ma'am. Obviously, I'm not at my best. I apologize.
I still do wish you'd knocked, but I ain't
She's
dealing with
with
that
us.
until. Don't make me undo all my hard work by smacking you, miss.
Jillian hobbles up
At which
to
point, Reba just holds out her hand and goes, "Reba, I like you."
Matilda, good to meet you. Now, it doesn't look like you're gonna need stitches, but that needs disinfectant. Some of that looks nasty.
Yeah, they had me in a swamp.
I'm sorry, this is gonna sting like a bitch. Shake, 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 shake. And yeah, the first touch of it's basically iodine.
Oh, wow! I have had that experience.
And there's
yeah,
an awful lot of it.
and
because
some of the words that she's saying, none of y'all know.
actually, the farm wife does actually look at you and go, I ain't heard language like that since my grandmama. And taking a good hard look at her, Reba would probably see where the rest of you wouldn't. That there is a certain ancestry there. It's just she passes really damn well.
And it just squints through, and she's squinting from the pain, and then she's still squinting because wait a minute, you squint just right. And so, like, clenched teeth through the burns. It's like, I won't say a thing.
Thank you kindly. I've got once she's done with the iodine, she does for Reba what she didn't really have time to do for Jillian, which is also dose the wounds with witch hazel, which helps tamp the burn.
That's a familiar smell.
Well, hopefully it's a familiar cooling feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sheriff, you're up. Sounds like you all need to have a bit of a conversation, because this sounds like the least happy reunion in... Oh, dear. Look, I'm assuming Aloy came back in?
No, I'm just gonna stay out there
Okay.
checking Muffin over. I'm
Reba.
staying the hell out of their way because until they're seeing sense, I'm not gonna bother
Except...
getting in the way.
Okay, but...
Jillian grabs at Reba's shoulder, either to be friendly or to steady herself.
Yeah, because...
We were coming to get you.
Don't
But,
do that.
Yeah, Jill, basically all of this is keeping infection at bay and making sure you're not bleeding worse, but it's not actually restoring any hit points.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, what Reba can see is Jillian's taken a couple of gunshot wounds to the chest.
I mean, she's probably still in her shirt. That's
Well, what's
Not in a good
left of
state.
her shirt.
Mm-hmm. There ain't saving that. There ain't saving this either.
well, we're not in quite as much of a rush anymore.
Yeah, I noticed.
I'm glad you're
Oddly
safe.
enough, the children let me go.
Jillian
And it
knows
cost
what
them.
they mean by that.
Jillian nods,
And it
understanding.
cost them. You cost them.
Jillian's not saying anything.
And Reba's going to very carefully sit somewhere
Yeah,
away from furniture, but
no. Well,
just-
there's some wooden chairs that.
Yeah.
And you're not bleeding anymore, so you're okay to sit.
okay. I will very carefully just sit and try to stay as still as possible.
The sheriff, through clenched teeth, is going. All right. I was trying not to have this conversation in to explain. I understand that we cost some time, but I don't know how much given where the swamp is on that property. What I do know is that I was trying to use an excuse to get them out of earshot so that we could actually discuss the situation without being overheard by whatever is wandering that place. Not too far, I was just going to take them here. But no one was listening, and then this one was doing something eldritch at me, points it to... But before even that, this one points at Jillian, bellowing at me all unnatural.
The whole time, Reba's just like, oh, children. These children. Oh.
And, well, I think, wouldn't it be chillin' from her?
Yes, you're right. Sorry.
And I didn't have any choice but to try to continue with the ruse by arresting him, which is when this one starts doing eldritch hand wiggles, and so I had to try to stop him from doing that. And then the shooting started.
Because of course it did. Sheriff, I know you were just doing your job.
I was trying to find a way to do my job and let you do whatever apparently the good Lord's asking you to do, and still maintaining the element of surprise. Ugh.
Well, nomenclature aside, whatever. You know what, Jillian, you go first.
Well, now that our friend is safe and sound, we can
What did you find? I'm assuming you guys were snooping around, because you sure as hell weren't coming for me.
Yeah, we were coming for you. We were coming for you. Just didn't have much to go on.
To be fair, Ms. Reba, ma'am, they, as far as we could tell, they'd been in the shed, which seems like a logical place to keep a hostage, and when they didn't find you there, I presume, they went down into the Norrington family root cellar. They were looking.
Hell.
They were looking in what they felt were the logical places to hold a captive, and they knew, from whatever they found down there, to be going for the swamp. So before y'all start bitching at your friends, y'all might want to actually listen. They started shooting at us because we were keeping them from getting to you. So y'all can shut up.
That's right. We found the book, what Wyatt Norrington was learning on how to make the creatures. That's been taken care of.
What do you mean taken care of?
She burned it before we could find anything useful out of it.
Nothing used to be found from something like that, but
Except
that
maybe
shed
how to make it stop.
The shed was full of the components that he making the creatures out of, including the bones.
So then where was he making them?
In the shed, seems like.
You just said it was full of components. So it was actually a work shed, not just a storage shed. It matters.
It's full of bones, vines, the flowers, everything the creature I saw was made of. But no trail to where you were, so then we checked the cellar. Had to root around a bit to find a back room with a map of the farm and markings where the swamp is. And that's when we were interrupted.
Next time there's a swamp, check there first. It's always the swamp.
I'll
I
keep
gotta
that in
look.
mind.
I gotta look at the map before the sheriff came in. I think I can find our way back there.
I'm pretty sure I can find my way back too.
What did you see, Reba?
I was tied to a table or hell, I'm not even sure what they tied me to. It's a little blurry. I think it was a table or altar of something out in the swamp. I was bound and gagged and squirming for all I was worth. One of them looked like a freaking undertaker. They bandaged me up for whatever reason, I guess to keep me from bleeding out completely too soon. And then they peeled some of them back and let this blood pull in whatever gators were around. They were fixing to feed me to the swamp, damn near literally. And then
given Reba's nature check, she also knows that they probably would have left enough bone to use.
Yeah. They were basically they were going to use the swamp to clean my bones and turn me into one of those things. And when most of them, God, they looked, I don't know, long arm, short leg, big. I don't even know what they were because I'm assuming she would have no idea what a gorilla actually was.
No. And to be fair, that's only a very base description of body
exactly.
habitus. It's
and fangs and claws, and let me tell you, those claws freaking work. And this undertaker looking thing, and he left, and then there were three of them, and they were children.
I saw one of them.
What did you see?
It was one of the creatures that had acted like a child, like that boy, sticking its nose into places it shouldn't be, but couldn't talk.
These were children. These were small children.
Well, so was the one that Jillian was talking to.
I know. I saw it.
I couldn't see it.
As friendly as could be.
One of them, they had a look I've seen before of we're going to get in so much trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And they released me. Well, they got my wrist free, and I got myself the rest of the way free, and I just ran, and I shouldn't have made it. I shouldn't have made it, but I got over the property line, and I heard a voice right before I started saying run, and sure enough, I just ran, and I shouldn't have made it. I was even I worked some magic and trying to go faster, and even that, and I got over, and then the scream started. And those children...
To be fair, Reba might want to flag up that it was something both heard and not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Thank you. It wasn't like it was audible, but it wasn't audible. It was the same way that it said run. Like I was hearing it, but I wasn't hearing it. And
like someone was watching over you.
Don't.
Not. Never mind.
Anyway, by the grace of the ancestors, I was able. I'm alive. I'm in one piece, and by the kind hand of Matilda, there, I'm not going to bleed out.
Yeah, she's finished up with the sheriff while listening to this and beckons to Caleb. Your turn.
Fair enough.
The first thing she does is start poking to fish the bullet out of his shoulder. So that's gonna sting. Anyway, so yeah, now she's working on him. Continue.
So as far as what I saw, well, that was about it.
As y'all aren't fixing to need to save a life, and you'll probably need some victuals for some strength. There's a pot of stew on the stove.
That's much appreciated.
Help yourselves. I'm a little busy.
Thank you. We owe her. Because we've gone through a fair number of her supplies.
It's called being neighborly. Then pulls the bullet out of Caleb's shoulder.
We paid you quite a bit for that.
Clink. Right. This gonna sting. Starts with the iodine.
Yep.
So, and the sheriff is good. So, I admit I was listening largely to distract from some of the sting, but what you're saying is that Wyatt Norrington is making creatures.
He's killing people to make them.
That don't match up with the Norrington I know. And it doesn't sound like he was anywhere near this. Okay, Reba and Jillian and Caleb, because I guess he's trying to focus his head away. Give me an insight check. Yeah, Jillian and Caleb are very simple in their. This is Norrington's farm. He's making the things, therefore he must be responsible for this. Reba is going, okay, so Wyatt Norrington wasn't anywhere near this. The monsters were what came for me. The Undertaker thing was what was hovering over me. And Jillian's starting to get to that as well, because the little one that she was talking to seemed to just be suggesting that all Norrington was doing was making them. It's entirely possible that given the leakage, and this is all for Reba, it's entirely possible given the leakage from where the Reckoners are that Caleb was sensing. One of them, probably the Undertaker thing, took on a mind of its own and is pushing Norrington to keep making them and tearing that incipient portal, weakening the space between more and more until it's an actual portal and shit can come through.
And Brian, refresh my memory. This is out of character, obviously. You did mention that the portal out there to all of us.
Yes.
Yeah,
In
we were
character,
still
right?
in town. I sent.
Yeah. Okay. Just so I.
That's why I brought it up to you, because it would be
Right.
something that you had
Yeah,
been
and I
told
was-
and was
Mhm.
putting all
Thank
the
you.
pieces together.
Thank you. Now I can
Look.
do this.
Look, Sheriff.
Well,
I-
Excuse me, let the lady talk.
I know
which
it's hard.
Reba, actually, he's talking at Reba.
Jillian, sorry. I think I know. Sheriff raises a good point, and thinking about what I went through and what Caleb mentioned before. Wyatt, I didn't see him. I didn't see a hide nor hair of him. And if look, I've run across people doing stuff, and I've run across some people doing stuff, and we're still there doing it. They brag. Some of them. And he wasn't there. It was this Undertaker looking thing. It was like they were all deferring to it. So this portal isn't open all the way, but it's spewing or oozing if you will.
You don't
Right, Caleb?
reckon why it hasn't become that
Well,
thing you saw?
we're on. I think that. I think it gave it the Undertaker looking thing. It's its own thing, and it could be making Wyatt make these. Now, yeah, I think Wyatt's making them, but the question is, well, I don't know if he started or what. But
Well,
anyway,
he must have started making them because
yeah,
the Undertaker thing was a made thing. But
right.
it's one of those things where you find out you can do something. It's like the magician. It's like the
The
magician's
Magician's
broom.
Apprentice, yes, the
Yes,
Magician's Apprentice,
the
yes,
sorcerer's
yes. Thank you,
apprentice. Yes.
yes. So it's like he made the first one, maybe made a couple more, and then the spew got into him and pushed him, got into the things he made, not him, and made him more. And then they turned around and start making him make more. And then it just built and built and built and built. So I think what we're dealing with is either they're doing something to weaken this spot and make it wide open, or the act of making them is doing it. Either way,
The act of killing all those poor souls.
mm,
That probably doesn't hurt. No, but could be a combination.
yeah, I mean, we're dealing with this. We're dealing with a whole big swampy portal energy spewing reckoner mess. That land itself, yeah, it ain't right.
I'm sorry, reckoners from the sheriff.
Oh,
Uh,
that's the term. Caleb, wasn't that when you used?
Yeah, it's the things from wherever this evil started to come from. Even
Demons,
out in the way,
Sheriff.
Sheriff.
For lack of a better way to put it,
oh,
things that they're. You've got this side and that side, and sometimes things from that side come over that aren't supposed to, and well, sometimes they just it happens for the or the wrong combination of the wrong things at the right time. Sometimes it's people actually poking stuff they shouldn't be poking with, and well, we tend to show up and clean up the mess. And it sounds like they did what they do, and I apologize that
I have a question for you
anyway.
then.
Hmm.
When you stepped on the property without any kind of y'all split up. Pretty clear
Mhm.
that you did. And two of you were lucky enough to come across one that was maybe made early or maybe just made to be friendly. I ain't pretending I understand this, but I'm following along the internal logic that y'all are putting in front of me. But you and Missy Inventor over there outside, who should probably be in on this conversation.
She ain't. Oh hell, Aloy, get your scrawny, leaving me behind ass in here.
Nope. I hear that, and I'm just like, nope, still angry, not touching that one.
Very slowly getting up and walking over to the door, opening it, and going, "Get in here."
I'm going to pat Muffin and walk on in.
Right, now that y'all are
Quietly
yeah.
closing the door and then sitting back down slowly.
now that y'all are together, you two got chased by monsters.
Mhm.
I gotta ask a question. That thing, that mule, as you called it, how well does it listen?
Mhm.
How good it how good are you at hearing over the clanking noise it makes?
Nope. can't hear a thing when he's in when he's at full clip.
Gives Reba a bit of a glance and then moves on. Y'all were chased by monsters, and the only reason these two, points at Jillian and Caleb, who's had his wounds cleaned, bandaged, and is nudged in the direction of Stew Bowl. Only reason these two didn't encounter monsters is because you two did. So, sounds like there's more of them than is reasonable, and what you're looking for is a distraction. And you have put yourselves through sheer being not exactly natural yourselves in a position where y'all are claiming, rightly or wrongly, I can't say, that you're the ones that are equipped to handle this. So my question is this: can you make it stop?
Yes.
All right. When y'all have figured out a decent plan, what you're gonna need is a distraction.
Yes.
That'd be us. This is our town, ma'am.
That's why I second thought you putting yourselves in harm's way. I understand.
It's kind of our job, not
I'm
just
not.
yours.
I'm not going to argue the point. Just so long as you know what you're getting yourself into, and from the sound of it, you do.
I have been listening, you know.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you had some idea beforehand.
Not really. And
Oh,
I knew that there were stories about this place, so I weren't exactly gonna entirely disbelieve. And when these two turned up in my office the first time, I got some impression that they thought that something beyond the normal was going on, so I was quite eager to have a conversation. But I didn't want to have a conversation that indicated to the residents, natural or not, of the Norrington farm, uh, I didn't want them knowing I knew. Or
understood.
even suspected. Because I can't
Mhm.
say for honest and true that I knew.
Um, a bit of an aside, but some of the children that were missing. Um, Nah, never mind. Never mind. No, no, no. That's not a thought I even want to entertain. Never mind.
Jillian knows that it isn't.
Reba, I
Hmm.
got a good look at the one I talked to. It's not one of the missing children. It's made from them, but it wasn't one of them.
Okay.
So
There's that at least.
their souls have moved on, but they've been made to be
Okay.
children.
Mm-hmm. Seems
Well,
so.
that's a little easier to deal with, so to speak.
It seems like the life force of the people used are what's powering these creatures.
I don't
I wouldn't.
reckon that's what they're saying. I
No.
think it might be, if you wanted to take it that far, the only reason that there's some that are still good is maybe to do with the fact that those little ones were too innocent to leave a black mark behind. Uh, just because I use a word that indicates a color doesn't mean I'm referring to your skin, ma'am.
I wasn't taking any offense. I was actually amused. I appreciate. Sorry. It's been a rough day.
Well, y'all might want to take lessons from your companions here about what happens if you take everything in its worst possible light. I'm sorry, I've had a bit of a hard day too. Maybe not to the same degree. Certainly not to the same degree as you have. I can see y'all haven't trusted the local authorities in quite some time. But they're not all out to get you. We will help by being a distraction as soon as we know you got a plan for exactly
Just
what you're going to do and how and where you need us.
yes.
So y'all going to sit down, you're going to eat, and Matilda's, you're going to eat and you're going to have a good rest because you ain't going out there until you've had a good night's sleep. Look at you. You're going to get some sleep, you're going to get a hearty breakfast, and you ain't starting anything until you've healed up some.
Yes, ma'am. And I don't say that lightly.
So while you're healing up, under the graces of Miss Matilda here, we'll see what we can do about getting your belongings from the inn. Let 'em think you left. Let 'em think we arrested you. Let 'em think what they want, but let 'em not know you're here.
Sheriff, you'll find um my we have a cat with us. He's or he's
She,
he
she, Calico,
right.
she.
Spot. She
Yes, I know about Spot. Spot
yeah.
has apparently taken up residence on top of the piano in the inn.
As long as Spot's not causing any trouble, can Spot just stay there until all is said and done?
Seems to be a bit of a mascot around the place at the moment. So.
Oh, wonderful. I hope she found a new home then. I'll have to make sure to say goodbye on the way out.
I don't reckon she'd necessarily like that. It's entirely possible that she's picked that perch to see when you're coming back in.
Hmm. That's true. That's true.
Either way,
Either way.
the cat's all right. And Matilda's going, we can bring the cat here if bringing things.
If she comes along, let her, if you don't mind.
We don't mind a bit of a mouse around the place.
My horse. Oh hell.
We brought all y'all's horses.
Oh, you found. Oh, good. You found mine on the. Okay. I left her on the edge.
Yeah, with Muffin.
Hmm.
All the horses.
Thank you.
But y'all are going to sit down and y'all are going to discuss some kind of plan before
Yeah.
anything happens. I gotta go home to the missus, and I gotta go by way of the Norrington farm to apologize to Wyatt Norrington for the inconvenience and let him know that I've run y'all out of town.
Best of luck, sir.
Let's hope that he wasn't listening to any of what was going on. As I say, I would have preferred to do that without having to explain myself on the stoop, more or less. So let's hope he didn't hear. But if I don't, there's a problem. So hopefully I'll see y'all come morning. If not, deputy, I suppose that puts you next up. I like to ensure that these things are adequately handled just in case. Hopefully I'll see y'all in the morning, and hopefully y'all have a plan by then. In
Yep.
one way or another, this gotta stop. Tips his hat, and sort of limps out. Matilda's
Reba.
bullying bowls of stew at all of you.
I'm taking one. I'm not arguing with this lady.
Jillian's
Never
just
serve y'all
eating.
food.
Okay, sorry, Reba.
Reba, I'm real sorry that you went off and got hurt like that. We were going to try to find you. That was not the intention. Jillian, I'm going to ask this once, and only once. I don't care if you're speaking for the Lord or not. That doesn't give you the right to put other people in danger when you do it. Let's not do that anymore.
Jillian, bite your lip. Hopefully, we won't have to.
I ain't entirely sure she can help that all the time. Well, I think y'all both have a point. This from Matilda, who's cleaning the blood off her kitchen table. I think y'all can ask her to try, and y'all can promise to try, but there's that whole moves in mysterious ways kind of thing, and whatever force the Lord is, will sometimes do what it will with his instruments.
Jillian nods very slowly.
I meant more the willful application, not the surprise.
How do you know whether it's willful or not? Because you wouldn't know whether her demanding they leave was an accident or intentional.
Okay.
Speaking of things you want to ask only once, Aloy, why?
The the thing about the tree that got this whole mess started.
Why did you leave me behind?
I was under the impression we were both running, and Muffin decided to go a heck of a lot faster than you. And I don't hear very well when I'm on Muffin.
Plus, you were concussed.
And, well, I don't exactly think so well after I've been hit over the head with an entire tree.
All right, that tells me what I needed to know.
All right.
So, do we have anything
That-
resembling the
that-
start of a plan yet?
Excuse me,
or-
little miss. I think there's a couple of words that Miss Reba here is waiting to hear you say. You never, out of character, you never apologized.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that. Aloy wanted to do that in private, but I guess that's not happening.
Not with the look Reba's giving you.
Not with the look Matilda's giving you.
Reba just went, okay, that tells me what I needed to know. If in an emergency situation, if Muffin starts running, I should just expect to be left behind. That was not said out loud, but that's what she's thinking.
Like, wow, she just takes the worst out of everything. Anyway,
What else is she supposed to think? That's what you just said.
Well, no,
You
what
said
she,
you couldn't hear.
let me get back
And
into
Muffin
character
went-
first, dude.
Okay, sorry.
Like, I'm nowhere near actually speaking yet in character.
Sorry about that.
So, okay, I'm gonna, after hearing Matilda go off, just kind of look at her a little helpless, and then turn back over to Reba and go, "I'm sorry about that. That wasn't any sort of planned thing. Everything went off before I could even begin thinking. I'm sorry."
Thank you. But it does beg the question, what do we do if something similar happens in future? If Muffin starts running, you can't hear. It may not be me left behind next time. It may be any one of us. We need to be able to have each other's back.
And I've already got an idea for that.
Okay.
Because
I just asked you to consider it.
I've already got a few ideas. I'm
Thank you.
actually gonna start. I'm gonna have that all started up by tomorrow. I'm gonna have the idea proper in place by tomorrow morning, because I want to make sure neither of any you get left behind, as many as possible, anyway.
All right. Now we all got our free shots in. Jillian, it's your turn. I took a free shot at you. Wasn't exactly fair, but it needed to be said.
I got no blame to pass around.
Aloy might want to take that opportunity to flag up that this wouldn't have started in the first place if this one hadn't decided to try doing whatever magic shit he did, or tried to do. I'm just saying.
Well, there's Jillian.
Oh no, not Jillian.
Well,
Caleb.
there's a few I could. Aloy's got
Yeah,
an opportunity
no,
for a futurist thanks to both of them.
Yeah, but Jillian's already
But
been
yeah.
taken to task for that, so.
No, but
Fair.
she said she doesn't have any blame to pass around. I'm about to say, Jillian, you might actually have a bit more than you think. Caleb, you did sort of start casting things after they already told us to not start anymore. And it didn't look like Jillian was going to start anything, and then suddenly you decided to pull your own equivalent. Once we're in a corner like that, just it's best to try and see where the situation goes. Because while I didn't get a chance to voice this, what I was hoping we were going to be able to do is get brought away or be allowed to leave, double around back to where we wanted to go as fast as we could. That would have put us hopefully into a position to have gotten you out, but it seems that by some absolutely ridiculous case of luck and everything wanting to help you, you got out, Reba. So while things didn't go remotely close to any sort of plan,
Well, didn't exactly have one.
while still alive. So let's roll this around one more time and try and get a plan in place in the process of it.
Well, to be fair, I mean, our original plan was we didn't have enough information to make one. Well, we certainly have enough now.
That's
Yeah.
fair. It comes down to us not having ridden together very long. What I was going to try and do was throw up a fog bank so we could try and run away, since I had pointed out where the horses were. But I admit that didn't play out too well either.
Unfortunately, sir, while it ain't exactly common, some folks do have a similar sort of ability set to you, but we can't necessarily tell if you're casting a harmless fog bank or something worse. By now, she's cleaned up the kitchen table and put a sliced loaf of fresh baked bread and a little crock of butter on the thing for the rest of your stew.
Bless you, Matilda.
Well, part of the problem is we don't know what the others can do, or they don't know what I can do, and I don't know what they can do.
Oh, that weren't the problem. The problem is that the sheriff and deputy were quite aware of what casting magic looks like. Looks over to a candle on the table, makes a little gesture with her hand, and it lights. I was whipping up something for dessert. Excuse me.
I do like her.
Seconded.
Anyway, for the record, Aloy, I'll get over it. I might still be a little touchy, and I'm probably not going to let you live it down anytime soon, but I'll get over it.
Well, in hopes of that in hopes of that not happening in the future, here's what I'm able to do. And I've got one more charge, so I can at least show this off. I'm pulling a grain back. Pulling out. This is
Couldn't
going to
you
be a little
let?
noisy.
Couldn't you let the one that you? Couldn't you use the one that you gave Jillian?
Oh, right. No, because yeah, then it's like, wait, putting both away. Jillian, what I gave you, hand that over, please.
Jillian fumbles belatedly through her coat to find
Yeah,
it and
it
hand
it's
it over.
it's still there, and miraculously, it has not been perforated by a bullet or splattered by blood.
So, what I put into this is, and then I'm going to concentrate on it and use it and
Yes, all of us.
proceed to zip
Yes,
to.
unnaturally fast. Y'all
Oh,
ain't using haste in my kitchen.
I can do that.
Nice.
I don't put it in rocks, but yeah, I can do that.
Actually, that's not a rock. That is that is
A
a
dollar bill.
yeah. That is non-Confederate money, which in this part of the world is only sometimes worth anything.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just demonstrations needed.
Next time, you'll do what children do when they want to be running around fast. You go out in the yard. But it's alright for now. You ain't broken nothing.
You could have just said.
I think at this point she probably wants to prove something to you because she feels real bad.
Fair.
Yeah, and you can't very well be getting up using any of this right now.
Anyway, so is it out of character? Is it reasonable to assume that Reba would make the assumption that the swamp has something to do with all this? That whatever's going on is probably centered there, given what she saw.
It's a reasonable assumption, whether it's true or not.
Fair enough. I figured that was going to be the answer. I just wanted to check.
But given, incidentally, that it is about that time.
Oh
and
yes,
this
never
is a
mind.
reasonable
This is a perfect
stopping
spot. Yeah.
point. You quietly and slowly, because of your various injuries, eat your quite nice stew and your bread. And Matilda more or less puts a moratorium on any kind of serious discussion until you have put some food in you. Y'all can discuss this over coffee, whiskey, and dessert. And on that note, I will see you all again next week when hopefully you come up with a slightly better plan. Bye.